What's up, everyone? It's the God, Young Montu-Ra, and welcome to Montu-Ra, the podcast, where I talk about the good, the bad, and the downright dirty of music, business, and spirituality. What's up, my gods and goddesses? And we are back with another episode of Montu-Ra, the podcast. I'm super grateful to everyone out there listening. Thank you so much for tapping in. So much to talk about. So much just energy is moving everywhere, especially in this month of June. We've talked a ton about astrology and this energy this month, and we're not over yet. We're at the halfway point. But today we're going to talk about this new moon in Gemini. Obviously, we're getting ready for the summer solstice. Mercury is going to be in Cancer, Neptune retrograde, Saturn retrograde. So much to decipher, but this new moon energy is this cosmic turning point that we've been talking about for the past months here. If you've been tapped into the beginning, this is this transformation that we are all experiencing. And I do believe this cosmic energy is saying goodbye to that old self, finally tapping into this new life. And with summer being right around the corner, I do believe this new moon is helping us to plant some different seeds in our life to start this new journey. But I do see the actual seed that we're talking about is a thought. It's going to be an idea, right? Remember, Gemini is about being open-minded, being witty, being social. So these types of ideas and innovations are going to start to unfold, even if we don't have the plans just yet. Remember, we talked about that full moon in Sagittarius, about shooting in the direction of our heart's desire, shooting where we want to be, not necessarily having the details. I do believe this new moon in Gemini is going to help us with the details. But I want people to understand this is a restless type energy as well. So it might come out in regards to not being able to follow through with different ideas that we have. We might be overstimulated with so much going on in our mind. I do think this is a great time to let go of the old and to start that new project, to explore different ways to create from the energy the Most High has given us. So that's just something I think this new moon is going to come out as. But I do want to talk before we get into breaking down kind of the horoscope in regards to the signs. I do want to talk about some themes, some more themes I believe this energy is going to come out in. So it's like reflect on how we communicate with ourselves and others is definitely going to be something uh, noteworthy to understand. Is that, remember, Gemini is an air sign as well, so it's going to be very vocal. We've been talking about promoting ourselves, advertising. Now we have the energy, we have the air, we have the fire, we have the water, the emotion with this energy as well. We're putting everything together in this new moon. And I also want to talk about speaking your truth. This is going to be very important. Now we actually have the capacity from all the eclipses that we went through, from the full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, having us to kind of deal with the dark sides of our life. Now that we've passed that, or starting to integrate this new energy, now it's time for us to speak up. And I do think this new moon is going to allow us to do that. I do see new ideas emerging. Connecting with our authentic self is going to be very important, and establishing a new positive mindset as well. So we might even learn some new things, getting clear on our goals. And that's a big thing for me personally, is really strategizing my daily routine, my day-to-day process on how I'm getting things done. Started to kind of implementing that a bit more, and being more strategic in regards to just the fine details of my life. So I think that's going to be something that we all can kind of relate to as well. um, Also, I think another theme is having these honest conversations with your loved ones, right? Being able to be open to talk, and more importantly to listen. as well. So I think this is another theme this new moon is going to come out and show itself. Being open to seeing things differently, practicing positive self talk, maybe like I said before, kickstarting some new projects, some new ideas, a lot of things that we've been thinking about. I do think this is a great time to start those new projects or those new endeavors. Um, we are all authors of our life, right? Now it's time to rewrite our own story. This is epic point right here because now you know, I always talk about like where do these ideas come from? What are these thoughts that are in my mind, right? They could be karmic debts, they could be from our ancestors, they could be from our past life, right? But we have the opportunity now to rewrite our own story, and I do think this is something very important as we continue to go through our spiritual journey, and that goes and that goes with assessing our self-talk, right? We definitely want to be able to have those positive conversations with our mind, just in our day-to-day life, right? So we are scripting our ideal life right now, and this is epic. So definitely, I do believe this energy is going to help us to be more curious, to be more talkative, and of course to be more social. But breaking free from the stories and the beliefs that could possibly be keeping us stuck in the past is going to be very important as well. Like I said, reflecting on our self-talk. What are we actually saying? How are we talking to ourselves? Now, is it serving us? Is going to be that question that we ask. Are we kind to ourselves, right? I know I get hard on myself daily because I feel like I need to keep going, keep pushing. And sometimes that's good, but sometimes it's not. So being nice to ourselves is very important as well through this new moon energy. And I do see this energy coming out in regards to establishing a new mindset and being more intentional with our thoughts and words, right? Um, when those crazy thoughts come in our mind, now we just click on to that positive mindset. Now that's easier said than done, right? I'm talking to myself on this thing, but at the same time, um, I do see that being something of value to help us to continue to trust this process and continue to be nicer to ourselves. And I do think this is going to be a reflection of our outside world once we start to implement a lot of these ideas that we're talking about on today. But I do see this being a time for us to create, like I said, that new story about our life and to edit those stories that don't serve us. That is epic. We need to edit. We're about to go and refine everything that we're doing in our life, on the inside and out in our relationships, especially our communication. Once I believe, our communication changes to others and to ourselves, that is how we are able um, to appreciate ourselves more and others as well in our relationships, right? I'm always talking smack, so definitely understanding my communication is a reflection on the people around me, and I definitely want to acknowledge that in the sense of it being more endearing for sure. And I think that we're all kind of going through that in regards to how we feel emotionally and being able to understand that the way we communicate with others is just a reflection of ourselves. And my mom would say it's not what you say in regards is how you say it, right? So that's definitely something that has helped me a lot and kind of helped me to understand to just be a better communicator as well. So I do see this energy saying like, be more intentional about the information and the communication we consume, right? Because it's not all about what we're saying. It could be about what we're watching, who we're watching, who we're taking advice from. So this is a very potent time for all of us to kind of readjust the information because this is the information age. So there's always going to be rhetoric daily, and a lot of it isn't good, and that's on purpose. So once we start to understand that, we say, you know what? Let me turn the TV off. Let me turn the news off. Let me turn off this bullshit because it really isn't serving me. It might be entertaining to a degree, but at the same time, it's like when we continue to listen to it, it really doesn't do anything for us. So that's just something that we can continue to think about and kind of readjust as we keep moving forward. But definitely being our authentic self, using that voice, speaking our truth is going to be very important, because we're not going to be able not to speak our truth. Like I said, we've been talking a lot about this astrology and things in the outer world where things aren't going to be able to, we're not going to be able to um, deal with it anymore. Like, it's forcing us to speak up. It's forcing us to speak our truth, regardless of if we ruffle some feathers. I'm always talking about going against the grain. Going against the grain is really just speaking the truth. And when we're around situations of the outer world that wants everyone to conform to some type of made up truth, if you speak your own truth, that is going to ruffle feathers. And you know I love that. But definitely focusing on the connection with others and ourselves, like we said. And I do see, and before I move on, focusing on the connection with ourselves and others and the universe and the Most High and the God or Goddess that we serve, right? That's the energy that we're talking about, because right now we're going through a period of questioning our thoughts. We're questioning a lot of things, our beliefs, our mindset, reassessing a lot of things, and asking ourselves, are we helping ourselves, or are we hindering ourselves? So I do see the overall energy is just being more mindful of maybe some of our limited beliefs in ourselves and others and situations. But also, this is going to help us to be more open to new perspectives and to see things differently. So that is just an overall consensus of this Gemini new moon, kind of the themes and what kind of to expect moving forward. Like I said, these new moons start to take place between 6 and 12 months after, right? So we still have some time to really integrate all this new energy, all these new vibes coming in. But I do briefly want to talk about how this is going to impact the horoscope on a general level, right? So when we're talking about the different signs, I like to think of it as, if you have a lot of how this is going to affect your sign. Say your Aries, we're going to start with Aries first. If you have your moon in Aries, or you have your sun as Aries, your ascendant, or you have a lot of energy in Aries, this is how I think the new moon is going to affect you. And I believe it's going to be in your third house of communication. And that is going to encourage you to like implement the chatty catty type Gemini energy, to use your voice to advocate what you want, right? We know Aries is that fire sign, that fire energy. So you're not like a meek soul. You're definitely going to speak up, but sometimes you might be fighting to hold yourself back because of fear of what others you might make others uncomfortable. But I will say, just speak up regardless on what you feel is right, no matter how many people you might rub the wrong way. Because in regards to Aries, you're always going to be the villain in somebody's story, but at least you could be the hero to yourself. Ooh, I love that. Next, we have our Tauruses. Shout out to all my Tauros out there. This is going to be landing in your second house of income. I do believe this new moon is going to remind you about your path to your financial freedom. Like, what does it lie in your mind in regards to your money and your resources? How are you thinking about money? How are you talking about your resources? I do see that being very important, but also not losing sight of your goals, because maybe you've been going through different storms, maybe different things haven't happened how you would like. But I do see this time of it being very warm and you being happy. Like, it's going to turn the tide, I believe, in your money habits and in your finances. But definitely sticking with your financial goals is going to be key during this new moon energy. Next, we have Gemini. Shout out to all these Geminis. Geminis are having a ton of energy. Obviously, we talked about Mercury finally getting into Gemini, with it being retrograde in Taurus for almost 2 months. We got the sun still in Gemini as we are recording this. Now we have this new moon in Gemini as well. So I do see this is going to shine that light on your first house. Take the time to visualize how you want to move next. Like, what is your next move? What is your next play? Definitely use your natural creativity to possibly make a vision board to see the highest version of yourself. And don't be afraid to dream big. We know that the Gemini energy can be a lot sporadic. It can be everywhere. It can be too heady. It can be having so many ideas, of course, but I do see this having an impact of you planning the things out, planning for your next move, and not jumping from idea to idea, because you get the best results when we stick to one thing. So I do see that being very important. Shout out to all my cancers out there. I do see this having something to do with that 12th house, your subconscious, finding some closure. This new moon in Gemini might bring up some unresolved issues. You might have to tie up some loose ends. Maybe, different situations that are out of your hands. My ascendant is Cancer, so I can kind of relate to this as well. Some interpersonal drama from the past. I've been having a lot of things pop up in my mind from the past, which is crazy. Just things from my childhood, and I do see this having something to do with lingering in our psyche. Right, we're trying to find ourselves. In our imaginary world at this point. I do think this new moon is having an impact on that, for us to, like, giving us a sign to let things go and to kind of own up into our mental health, and taking care of ourselves with meditation, taking care of ourselves with these positive self-talks, and these definitely just a positive, better mindset in regards to how we're thinking. And I do see that having a important impact on everyone, but also cancers as well, especially that 12th house of the unknown. Next, we have Leo. Shout out to all my Leos out there. I do see this having to do something with your 11th house of networking and connections, right? So, everything we're talking about, all these themes of this new moon in Gemini are going to reflect somehow into the entire horoscope. But more importantly, it's like a overall understanding of kind of the different signs of how it's going to play out, even though we can all kind of benefit from all of this, right? So I do see this having something to do with Leo and that 11th house, turning your attention to your inner circle, reminding you that you're not the only one in the pride, you're not the only one in the pack, right? It's about understanding our surroundings, the community within itself, right? Having you might have, or this energy you might have us having mixed feelings about our friendships. Like, who are we dealing with? Who is in our inner circle? Are they benefiting us? Are we helping them? Is this a clear partnership? And I will say, don't be afraid to cut people off if you need to, right? Because some people can be dead weight, and it's okay if we need to let the energy kind of let it dissolve in a sense, right? So I do see doing that will make room for people that are more in line with our spirit. So shout out to all my Leos out there. Cut them off if they ain't bringing that to the table. You understand? Dig? Next, we have our Virgos. Shout out to all my Virgos. You know I love my Virgos out there. I do see with this new moon taking space in your 10th house of career, your eyes are going to be firmly planted on the prize, gearing you up. The Virgo energy is getting geared up for that big check, for that big opportunity. Something is happening. Remember, Mercury is the ruler of Virgo as well. So this is a very potent time, I do believe, with you plotting some different type of interest in your professional career. Maybe you want to start your own business. Maybe you have some type of side hustle that you want to expand. This is going to be coming out in regards to your work. I do see maybe you're hoping to land a promotional job, or get a promotion, something like that. But I do see something coming off the ground. And I will say, leave your self-limiting beliefs behind at the door. Fight for your own limitations is something I've been saying. And I say that is because we are limitless, and the Most High shows us that daily. So Virgos out there, continue to go for the goal. Next, we have our Libras. Shout out to all my Libras out there. I do believe this new moon is going to be in your 10th house of travel and adventure. Remember, we just had that full moon in Sagittarius. So this is that Sag house in the sense of pushing you to explore the big wide world out there, and as well as your inner world. So this is definitely the yin and yang, right? As below, so above as below type energy, as above, so below, right? So whether it's taking that trip out with your groups or venturing out somewhere on your own, I do believe you need to harness this new moon energy and be a bit bold, right? Be brave in this season because Libra is always trying to find balance, always wanting things to be fair, but maybe not being fair with yourself is very important as well. So definitely tap into that. Shout out to all my Scorpios out there. You know I love my Scorpios. This is going to impact your eighth house, right? So I do see investments, some type of emotional bond. This new moon in Gemini is going to prove the biggest investment you can make is in yourself. And we're going to talk about a lot about that, about us investing in ourselves and believing in ourselves. Because sometimes we think that we need others to turn us on to some type of situation, me included, sometimes, right? But now, with this energy, is making us aware that hey, we can do these things on our own. We can start and be successful. So with our Scorpios out there, I do see this sign is going to favor that stability. And don't be afraid to make long lasting decisions. So as long as they are serving your higher self, this is epic. So shout out to all my Scorpios out there, still feeling the effects of that full moon lunar eclipse as well. So definitely understand this is a great time to invest in yourself. Let's go. Sagittarius, shout out to all my Sagittarius. This energy is going to be sitting in your seventh house of partnerships, right? So I do believe you might be focusing more on your gaze and on personal connections. A new development might be brewing in your love life, possibly a close friend, maybe a business partner might come in. Some type of acquaintance, I believe, could make you feel more confident for you to level up, right? Because this is something about your community, right? We're asking pretty much every sign to be more social, and Sagittarius energy is definitely the energy that is going to help you to be that social butterfly, because it's going to give you that new inspiration to continue to go on your journey as well. So shout out to all my Sagittarius out there. Obviously, we talked about that full moon in Sagittarius. I do believe this energy is going to help you find those details in your life. That fire energy is going to be inspiring you to continue to push forward and build your connections. Next, we have our Capricorns. Shout out to all my Capricorns out there. You know I love them. I do believe this is going to be in your sixth house, well-being. I've been telling my Capricorns for probably about, I don't know, a month to. It has something to do with your health, right? The sixth house, your well-being, taking control of your health, getting rid of the toxins of the people. Capricorns out there love to work and are hard workers most of the time and just never take breaks and are usually the ones that people call upon, right? But I do see that can be in regards to not taking care of yourself. So I do see this energy having you kind of getting that fitness regimen, embracing maybe some holistic approach to your wellness, creating some type of fun routine, right? Something that you can sustain, that is not going to feel like work, taking long walks, anything that has to do with you taking care of your physical body and taking care of your health. I've been actually been dancing usually in the mornings to kind of get my little workout in right now. But for my Capricorns out there, definitely if you want to start dancing out there, take care of yourself. Next, we have our Aquarius. Shout out to all my Aquarius. This is going to be tapped into your fifth house, creativity, the romance, leaving that legacy energy. So you might be thinking about that a lot. But this is going to help you to get out of your own way because your creativity might come out as being more spontaneous, especially with this new moon in Gemini. So I do see you following suit, right? You might want to go out for a party and hang out with friends. But there's like I see a lot of fun energy with Aquarius out there with this new moon. I do see you embracing a bit more of others and just having like that the star of the show type mentality. So there's nothing like specific that you need to like chase after or whatever, but just kind of go with the flow and let the Most High guide you. Last but not least, we have Pisces. You know I love my Pisces out there. Thank you, everybody, for joining as well. But this Gemini new moon is going to tap into your fourth house, right? We know Pisces are always trying to take care of others, and is always, in a sense, has that martyr complex that we talked about because they can feel so much energy. I do see this having something to do with that fourth house, like I said, because this is about the home life. How are you communicating with your home? How are you representing your home? What's going on in that home life, right? But I do see this having something to do, like maybe a ritual you might want to do is cleaning up the house, putting things in order, getting those cobwebs dusted out, maybe reaching out to family and friends to feel a sense of home, right? You may not be at home, but maybe this is a great period for you to tap in back with the people that you love. Um, but yeah, I do see this Gemini energy. This new moon is going to be the new beginning for all of us. We are putting everything together as we continue to go through our spiritual journey. But that's all I have to say on today, episode 6. Man, we are flying through this. Thank you again to everybody tapped in. I will be back again. We're going to talk some more, or we're going to do some episodes on business. We're going to do some episodes on the music. But right now, it's a lot of astrology energy, and we're going to keep on tapping in. Appreciated by much love. It's the guy, Young Montu-Ra, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.